This Faceless YouTube video, 100% made with AI, gained over 3 million views and made more than $10,000, and you can do it too in just 1 hour. Today I'm interviewing Tao, a robotics engineer who's mastered the art of creating Pixar quality videos, and he's breaking down the full step-by-step process using AI. Tao, let's say I want to do a full hour video of like the full history of ancient Egypt, right? In the Ghibli style. What is the first thing to do?
Okay, so let me share my screen first. All right, so I think a 1 hour animation is a little long for this tutorial. We can do something shorter.
For sure.
But using AI, you can basically create any kind of story or animation that you can think of. There's some like huge channels that are doing like Bible stories. I don't know if you've seen those, like AI Bible stories. What's the famous, the guy with the rock who kills like the giant, David and Goliath. That story. So yeah, that kind of stuff is really going around. So AI animation, let's talk about it. So the first thing we need is to actually have a story. Now, a lot of people, like they come to me, they already have like a film script they wrote, or they, they want like a music video. So in that case, the music video itself is like the script, the song is the script, right? So that's like the best case scenario. Or if you don't have anything already planned, you can kind of use ChatGPT to help you write the script and the narration. So the most famous person from ancient Egypt is Cleopatra, right? Queen Cleopatra. Do you know about her? So when I make animations, I like to make them centered around characters and stories. That's kind of what I'm good at mostly. Okay. So let's say, write me a short narration about Queen Cleopatra. Sorry, your face is like blocking my screen. Okay.
Oh.
And so she famously had two lovers, right? One was Julius Caesar, and the other guy was Mark Antony, but we won't worry about him today. So let's say make it dramatic. Let's just see what this gives us. Usually, like ChatGPT will give you a huge script. We'll probably shorten it for the sake of this tutorial. Yeah, this is quite long. So in the burning heart of Alexandria, the Nile whispered secrets to the stars. So it's very, it's like very poetic, if you will. It's, it's smarter than something I could write. That's for sure. Something Shakespeare would write. But you can also have it write it specifically in the style of an author, or something you want. But let's also include some dialogue. So let's say change this to include a short dialogue between Caesar and Cleopatra. So we can add some lip sync to our characters later on. Okay, so basically, it looks like this is saying that Egypt and Rome are in some kind of a war. By the way, the historical accuracy of this is like, you'll have to check that. You need to fact check me.
Right. But that's fine.
It looks like, it looks like there's some kind of a conflict between Cleopatra and Caesar. Okay, and then so there's some dialogue. This is kind of overly dramatic, but that's good.
That'll look
and
cool.
By the way, can I show another channel that does 3D animation? So there's this channel. I've seen this channel. And basically, they actually have like a network of channels. If you see, I guess maybe they deleted the other channels, but they also have history in a nutshell. And so, yeah, as you can see, they make a lot of these like short 3D animation stories like this. And if you see the actual animations, like the characters aren't super consistent. I don't know if I'm not going to play the whole video, but and the animations aren't like necessarily amazing, but it's more about like the story and the characters that do well in these types of videos. Okay, because like Cleopatra, obviously super famous. There's like a Netflix show about her or whatever. Okay, so we roughly have our story down. At this point, right, what I like to do is copy this. Let's create. Is paste this story into like a Google Docs, and then through it, I'll add in my own thoughts about what the scene should look like. Now, you can also ask ChatGPT to generate like images for you or ideas about images. So for example, also give me images to go along with this narration. Oh,
And
sorry. It's like actually generating images. I didn't. I meant for it to write ideas of images. Yeah. But anyways, okay. So for example, here in the burning heart of Alexandria, let's just say, in the beginning, right? What kinds of images would we need? We need like, let's say Nile River, a city at war. So maybe like a burning city Cleopatra, acting brave, something like that.
okay,
Okay, so that would be some images, and then I would go through and then do it for each of these, right?
right.
But for now, let's start thinking about images or creating videos. So what I recommend people to do is to use image to video. Essentially, what we're going to be doing is creating reference images using an AI image model. And then if we use a prompt like this, like she smiles and waves, we can put that into an AI video generator and turn it into an actual video. Okay,
Okay.
so this is pretty cool. We'll be using Clean for this. So I prepared some images. We can actually just go ahead and generate. We can actually just try that right now. So
Yeah. Just before going to this, maybe for the people watching, for creating an image, would you have a prompt that
yeah.
you use or that you recommend to create like that good of an image?
So I'm in Midjourney right now. So
Okay.
Midjourney is one of the older AI image generators, and it's also one of the best AI image generators, in my opinion, especially for like the visual aesthetics. Like visually, it looks the best. Like an alternative would be like Leonardo AI, which is I think they have like a free plan, but I think overall Midjourney is going to create like the best looking images in general. If you see like an amazing looking like AI generated animation, chances are it was done using Midjourney, at least like in some part. So
Interesting. Even with the new update from ChatGPT, it's Midjourney is still beating ChatGPT for that.
yeah, absolutely. In terms of like visual aesthetics, ChatGPT's new model is better at like following prompts. I think in terms of like specific characters, or like if you want someone to be wearing like a specific type of clothing in a specific environment, it's better at following prompts. It can also do like the style transfer. I can show that later where you turn like a Pixar style image into a Studio Ghibli anime style image.
Ooh,
So it's
nice.
better at that kind of thing. But in terms of like pure visual aesthetics, Midjourney is better. And Midjourney is also a dedicated AI image tool, whereas ChatGPT, their main thing is like the text or the large language model, right?
I see.
Like that's not like the main thing that OpenAI is doing. So uh, I generated a bunch of images earlier of Cleopatra. We can take a look at these.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
some prompts like this, the good news about Midjourney, again, is like the ease of use. It's very easy to generate really nice looking pictures. So let's just say like this image right here. Let me see if I can find it. Right. So essentially, if you look at some of these prompts I use, so we can just go into this prompt bar up top and then try Cleopatra, the Egyptian queen, cute 3D Pixar style animation. So essentially, you want to describe what you want to be looking at, and then also the style that the image should be in. Then we also need to go here and turn this into a landscape images, right? Because by default, it'll generate stuff in square images. We want a landscape image. Let's actually, you see the aspect ratio. Let's make this like a 16:9, which is like a widescreen that you'd have in a YouTube video.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's run that and see what it gives us. So Midjourney actually released a new version, version 7. This is like version 6.1. But from what I've heard, version 7 isn't, all that great yet. It's like it's still in a prototype level. Okay,
Got it.
so very quickly you can see like these look, really nice. Specifically, like I used the keyword cute.
Yeah.
Let's say if I took out this word, right? Let's see what happens.
I'm curious, why did you put cute in there? Is there a reason?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, it was just like the visual aesthetic. It looked like extra exaggerated in terms of like the 3D Pixar style. And that's kind of what I wanted to go for. You see, if you don't use the word cute, it's a more like mature, which, still, this is great. These are also great. It's just personal preference, right?
No, yeah. Definitely, it totally changes the vibe. It goes from Pixar style to more like you said, more mature.
Yeah. So even like here, like both of these are 3D animation styles, but even just like a very subtle keyword like cute, even though it's still in the same 3D animation style, right? So let's try to just replicate what I showed here. So first, I do recommend upscaling these images in general because the higher resolution of the images you use to generate the videos, the better results you're going to get. Okay, so subtle will basically upscale and preserve the original shape, the original textures, and then creative will like adding some maybe smaller fine-grained details. So we can try both. Let's also upscale creative here. This will take a minute. While that's working, let's go and think about character design. So the next part of telling a story or creating an animation is actually having characters inside of them. So our characters right here are Cleopatra and Caesar. So we need to generate images of those that we can put inside the video. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so for something like this, again, I recommend using Midjourney. I think it's just the best visual aesthetics as far as character design. So I have a prompt here.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
That I've already created or tried earlier. Oh, and by the way, here you can see the upscale is subtle. If you look, you can see like the freckles on her face.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
The upscale creative, it kind of smoothed those out. So it's kind of like the AI has an idea in its head of what people think is like a better looking image. So it'll like smooth stuff out a lot of the times. But anyways, I think the freckles makes it look more realistic, if you will. Okay, but anyways, let's go ahead and generate our character models. So we're gonna go with a full body shot. So we can see the entire character of Cleopatra. Same 3D cute Pixar style in a white background. Yeah, I might jump around a bit, by the way, just because.
It makes sense. You're doing great. Oh, it's cool. Lots of value already. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So by the way, if you notice, these are landscape images. So you see how they're wide images. If we made this a vertical image, it'll actually change the way the characters look. So they look kind of like short, like a small girl, like 10 years old or something. If we make it a vertical image, and by the way, the way you do that is this aspect ratio parameter. Like all different image generators are going to have this. You can also change it in the settings. Like you use like a portrait aspect ratio, you can see it changing over here.
Nice.
Okay, so let's go back. See how it looks taller? This is like one of the struggles beginners have a lot is they get stuck like trying to generate a vertical video for like, shorts or a cell phone or whatever, or they're trying to generate a wide video for like YouTube or just filmmaking or whatever, and then their characters don't look the way they want them to. And a lot of that is just the aspect ratio that you're generating the characters in.
Really changes everything. Wow.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Let's actually run this a few more times. I'm not sure I like any of these character designs. Maybe she's wearing royal blue robes. Okay,
because now I feel she's less cute 3D Pixar style, no? Like those new ones. Oh, okay, now this one looks more,
Yeah. So what happens is every time you run a prompt in Midjourney, it's slightly randomized. So it won't give you the same results every time, right? So there's a little bit of the random element where sometimes images generated are a little cuter, sometimes they're more, mature. Okay, I'm not sure if Cleopatra would have actually looked like this. But let's
But
just
we can
pretend.
go with one of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's just pretend. Okay. So actually, if you see now, her eyes look a little weird. That's fine. It's a little bunched up. In terms of the frames here, her head's like almost at the frame. Her feet are almost through the bottom of the
Mm-hmm.
frame.
Yeah.
So I'll actually expand this image a little bit. So if we go back, if you use this editor feature in Midjourney, we can expand the borders a little bit. You'll see why I do this later.
Wow, Midjourney has changed from since they launched.
Oh yeah, did you use it when
Oh
they
dear.
launched?
When they launched, yeah, a lot. And then I stopped. Yeah, I mean, when I was mainly using Discord for it. But now,
Mhm.
damn, that's super interesting. Okay.
Okay, so now we have our image of Cleopatra, and we can try to basically take this image and create a story with this character inside of it. So first,
Nice.
let's just upscale it, make it larger. Like I said, you get better results with using slightly larger images. While that's working, let's just see how the AI video generator works. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and save this image.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so I have some images prepared from earlier.
Yeah,
But
we can use those.
let's just put her inside here. Okay, we'll name her Cleopatra Pixar style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for AI video, I like using Kling personally. There's a lot of good options out there, like Kling Runway released a new model. I'm gonna make a video tutorial on that, but I think Kling is very responsive to different visual styles. It's also really good at listening to your prompts. So for me, Kling right now is still probably the best AI video model you can use.
Interesting. Because
Although
Runway, I
I,
see a lot for like cinematic movies and stuff. Is that
Mhm.
is there one that's better for specific stuff than others you've seen, or you could do the same here in Kling, basically?
Yeah, so I've been testing the new runway model that just released like a few days earlier a lot. I think it's very, very good. I need to test it out more. I will say that Runway by far has the best marketing team. Like, because
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
one
yeah,
thing
I've been.
Americans are good at, it's marketing. So,
So if you had to rank like the top ones to like the viewers, right? They don't know
mhm,
much what's good image to video. You would say
yeah.
Kling's at the top. What's like the others that you would
For
recommend?
what we're trying to make today, I would say Kling's at the top.
Okay.
Runway has a really powerful motion capture feature, which basically you can upload like yourself talking, and Runway will map that using motion
Mm,
capture technology onto like an AI character, for example. And so you can almost create an AI actor. It's a very
got
powerful
it.
tool. So I use that, and like most people use that. Like if you've seen some of the stuff going around with like AI like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's using that kind of technology. But for what we're doing today, let's just use Kling for now, and then I can show
Perfect.
the runway stuff later.
Sweet.
Okay, so inside video, we'll be using image to video. Text to video is where you can enter a text, but
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to keep the style consistent between different video generations. Image to video, you get way more control. Okay, so let's go ahead and upload this
Because
photo of
yeah,
Cleopatra.
I'm sure a lot of questions from people would be, how do you keep the consistency of characters and images and all that
Yeah,
throughout
yeah,
a video?
absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what should we make her do? What do you think?
So I guess just walking around on that market, I guess.
Okay. So let's say, so what image to
Can we
video
make her
does?
throw an apple or something?
We can try. We can try. So
Okay.
what image to video does is it'll take this image as the first frame, and then create a video based on this.
Yeah. What about like she throws an apple to Caesar? Just that.
Let's just try. She throws an apple.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then we'll do 3D Pixar animation. It's very helpful sometimes to also adding the specific style of animation that you're trying to do. You
Right.
can generate 5 or 10 second videos. Let's go with 5 second for now. And then I'm just going to do like 2 outputs. As you can see, I'm a VIP.
Yeah.
But that just means I have a paid subscription. That's all it means.
Right.
But yeah, so as I said, each time you generate, it'll be slightly different. So usually I'll generate 1 or 2 different outputs to see what they look like. Okay. So it should be fast, about 1 minute or so. Let's go back. Let's take this character we generated. Okay, let's download her. Let's move her into here. Blue, because she's blue. When it comes to character creation, okay, hold on to your seatbelt. This is going to get slightly complicated. So, for example, let's just say I wanted to take myself and put myself into an AI video or into an AI image model. What you need is first, you need to train based on a data set of yourself. So here I have like 3 images, right? You might want 10, 12, 14 images of yourself or any character you want. What you need to do is basically train a custom AI model. And basically the way that it works right now is that we have a base AI image model, for example, Flux or Midjourney. That's like the base model. You enter a text prompt, it generates an image for you. Then the part that we're going to train is like a small component. It's called LoRa. So if you're involved in like the AI community or you've been following AI, in general, you've probably heard this term a lot, LoRa. What does that mean? It basically is just a small modular component that we can attach to a larger image model. So this small custom component is what we're going to train. And once we've trained that, we can generate images of ourselves in different settings or locations. This kind of, it looks pretty close to me.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, the problem I get from a lot of people is like, okay, but what if we only have one image, right? Like if you have, let's say you've designed your own character, or you generated a character inside a Midjourney or something like that. You really like the way it looks, but you only have one image, and you're like, well, what do I do? Like, you can train an AI model with just one image, but the results won't be as good in general. So what we'll do is actually we can use an AI video generator to animate that image like I've done here, then extract more frames from this animated image. And so we end up with multiple images of our character, even though we only started with a single character image. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Wow, would not have thought of that. Okay, interesting.
So this one, I already did one of Julius Caesar, okay? But
is that the most common way to do this, basically, to keep consistency of characters, is to create a video and then take frames from it?
Yeah, I think if you only have a single image of your character, that's probably the best way, in my opinion. I think, obviously, if you already have a data set, like if you have images of yourself or someone, right, it's like better to have a bigger variety.
But like Midjourney images, that normally you just have one, right? Like it won't create many of the same. Okay.
That's right. Another way, I'll show this platform later, but another way, let me scroll down. By the way, this is OpenArt. I'll show how to use this platform in a second, but I just want to show something real quick.
Yeah. And guys, you can see he's the expert. Look how many generations he's made.
Yeah, you can also try to create character sheets like this. So if you see my prompt, like a character sheet, a cartoon illustration, like multiple views, different angles, stuff like that. This also works. The problem is like in AI, if you generate, the more characters you generate, the less refined and less detail you'll have on each individual character inside the same image. Like AI is really, really good at generating images of one person or two people and making it very detailed. But the more people you try to generate in the same image, the worse the results are going to be. So these are like simple like vector graphics, right?
Yeah.
But, stuff like this, you can do, this is, another way of doing it basically, of getting multiple shots of the same character. So I used to do this. Now I prefer the AI video method because I just find it just gives better results overall. Okay, so let's go back and see what our character. Okay, doesn't exactly follow our prompt. Let's see how the second one worked. So she's holding an apple. Like this is pretty good. The thing about AI
This is
is,
a nice one.
the larger motions you try to animate, the more blurry. Like you can see at the beginning here, there's a little blurring,
Right.
a
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah, yeah,
warping.
yeah. That's what I was
So like,
wondering for like fighting scenes. That's not
mhm,
possible yet, right?
it's very very difficult.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
difficult. I think
Um
yeah, I did one of like a lightsaber scene before. Like you can make like like in the image, if in the image they're already kind of in a fighting pose, then if you do the video, it's easier to animate that because it already has a hint of what you're trying to do. But
okay, yeah. I see.
okay, so this looks pretty good. She doesn't throw the apple, but that's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah. This is good for today, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So now let's create some more images of our character,
Mhm.
which we will use to train an image model specifically, right, to generate images of our character. So, if we go back up to the top, I already have some images of Caesar that I
Nice.
generated earlier. So let's get to that. Now, first thing we need to do is to generate some videos of our new character of Cleopatra.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's say we'll just use a simple prompt like she turns and gestures with her arms, Pixar animation. So I think maybe we'll do like 3 outputs. Something simple like this will work great. And you can see this is why I stretched the image. If you remember, at first it was a vertical image, right? That was like
Yeah.
this shape. And then I widened it. So it gives us more room in the AI video
Mm.
generator. So
Oh.
let's generate that. Okay, so it's pretty fast actually.
Quick break from the pod to tell you about 1of10.com, a powerful tool to help you grow faster on YouTube. Check this out. Using 1of10, this creator took inspiration from this viral idea and combined it with this thumbnail concept. And the result? Her most viewed video with more than 2 million views. By focusing on the right idea, title, and thumbnail, you're setting your videos up to go viral. 1of10 includes a suite of tools specifically designed to highlight overperforming videos and spark inspiration to find your next viral idea in just minutes. And the best part? With code POD50, you'll get 50% off for life. That means just one video with 25,000 views can cover an entire year's cost. So if you want to grow your channel faster, head over to 1of10.com. Now back to the pod. Have you launched animation channels of your own?
No, so like I've worked with like filmmakers, artists who want visuals for their concerts or music videos. That's kind of what I do creatively for myself on the side, besides my YouTube channel. Yeah, so I haven't like tried launching like a YouTube automation type of channel yet. But this is what I would do if I wanted to do that.
Makes sense. With all these this knowledge, what do you want to do? What's the future for you for Tao Prompts? So you have the channel,
Mhm.
but what do you want to do with this like very specific skill set?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So I forget who said it, but someone said that the first AI film to win an Oscar will be this year. So there's some people don't like it. Like Ben Affleck, he's like an American actor. He hates AI video, right? But there's definitely a lot of applications in like film, TV shows, stuff like that. I think it'll probably start with TV shows and then go to films. But that's
Nice.
more what I'm personally like more interested in working on.
Nice, nice. Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, last year, or was it this year, that the animated movie was 100% made on Blender and won an Oscar? Did you saw that? See
Oh
that?
man, I don't recall that.
Oh, you didn't see that? Yo, that shows like it paves the future. It was 100% made on Blender
What
and
was the
won an
name of the
Oscar.
show?
Flow.
Okay, I have to check that out. I think I've seen someone talk about it on YouTube at some point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. It'll hype you up because it's crazy.
yeah, definitely. I'll have to check that out. We've got a couple pretty good generations. This one, the first one, she turns all the way around. I'm not going to use this image because we don't want to confuse our AI image generator. So basically, I have some data sets that I got from earlier, right? But the AI models will learn everything that's in common between your images, or that's what it tries to do. It tries to learn all the things that are in common between your images. So if you have one of him turning away from you, it's gonna get confused. Like I've had people ask me, like there was a guy who was a bodybuilder, and he asked me like if he could train an AI model to generate images of him in all the different poses. And if you want to do that, you'll probably need to train a separate custom model for each particular pose. Otherwise, it'll get confused and mix them up. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and download these two. These look pretty good. Okay, then let's move them into our data set. So we'll just call this Clio 1. Now, what we need to do is extract the frames from this. You can just, if you want, you can just take a screenshot, or an easier way that I found, you can use this website called frameextractor.com.
Wow.
And basically,
Okay.
yeah, the way it works is you just upload a video like this one, and then you basically tell the number of frames you want to extract and the distance between the frames. So we have a 5-second video clip. So I'm going to say 50 frames and 100 milliseconds between each frames. So 50 times 100 is 5,000 millisecond, which is 5 seconds. Basically, this just covers the entire video. Let's zoom out a bit so it's a little easier to look through them. So we've got quite a few good frames of our character. I think I'm just going to pick a couple of them and download them. Some different poses. You do need to watch out for the fingers in AI. So these actually look pretty good. But sometimes this is going to be the area that gets screwed up. If anything goes wrong, it'll probably be small animations of hands. Okay, now let's go to this other one. So I'm going to probably get like 5 or 6 images. You can do it with less or more. It's up to you. Okay, let's go through and name these. I like to name stuff just so I don't get confused.
You're well organized.
Yeah.
Engineering.
Well, you got to be when you're working with like this many different assets. Now, one thing I will note is that you can see like a lot of these are facing the same direction. Like they're all kind of looking to the left. Sometimes it's a good idea when you're training an AI model to go in and flip the image. This is like slightly more advanced, but
you're giving all the sauce. That's awesome.
Yeah. But you don't want the AI video model to learn that like she's always looking towards one direction. Okay, so now to train these models, basically once we have the data set, we need to go ahead and train an AI image model. Here's the deal. There's a lot of different platforms that offer AI model training. And under the hood, they all kind of do the same thing. Like a lot of people ask me which one's the best to use, because I make like AI video tutorials on different platforms.
Right.
Sometimes I'm sponsored, but the truth is that they all kind of do a very, very similar thing, which is what I described here. Basically, it adds a small custom component, usually to a Flux model.
Right.
So have you heard of Flux? It was like pretty.
Yeah, everyone uses Flux.
Yeah, exactly. So that's usually what it does. Like basically, all the time.
Yeah, Flux is the best one, no? From my understanding, but what you said, they're all kind of doing the same.
I would say it's the best open source image model. Let's go. So what I'll use is OpenArt for this. I am sponsored by them, disclaimer, but
Sure.
I do like their platform. It's pretty good. What we'll do is we'll go to the character training. And again, there's other platforms that let you do this kind of thing.
Right.
But the idea is we'll train our Cleopatra model here. So let's actually take the original image and also upload that, because that's the most, that has the highest fidelity to what you want. Then we can go in. Let's go and snag these other images, drag them in here. We'll give her a name, Petra blue. There we go.
So turning 4 images into a character. So it's gonna create a basically like a video game character. Basically, it's gonna create a just for the viewers to understand.
Yeah, so what
And
this is doing is it's gonna slightly customize an AI model so that it can produce more images of our original character, but in different like scenes and poses, right?
oh, I see.
So
Okay. Yeah.
let's, I trained some earlier, so we can take a look at that. Let's just, this, so I trained one with Julius Caesar earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can take a look at some of the data I used. Basically, I use the same method. You take like these
Yeah.
images of Julius Caesar, and then I trained an AI model exactly the way we're doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go and create some images of Julius Caesar. So OpenArt's pretty convenient. We can basically see that our model has been selected. Then inside this prompt box, and by the way, this is usually what is going to pop up. I just selected the prompt and reference. So there's some other options like creating a specific pose for our character or placing them in another image, but this using a prompt works the best. So you can see here it's tagged the name of our character so that the AI knows to generate him. And let's create him with this prompt. So standing outside a Roman palace, short curly hair, 3D Pixar style. And we have some other options like changing the aspect ratio. So if we do like a landscape, a wider landscape image, we can do that.
What's the weight? 0.8.
Yeah, so this, the higher weight, basically like the closer it'll look to your character, but it's not like you just always want to set this to the highest level because it might learn some things from your image that you don't necessarily want to be in the final
I see. Okay.
rendered image, right? But you can play around with this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what he looks like. Some of these are pretty good. Like I think this one actually, let's go ahead and compare him. Now, these won't be exactly the same. So he looks, if you look at the image,
a little
he looks
younger.
Yeah, it's like a little different clothing around here. Let's see the other ones. Okay, so what we can try to make him look a little older, let's go to the prompt and say he's, let's say 35 years old and see what happens. So sometimes it's, even though you've already trained the AI model with images of your character, it's always good to give it some extra hints.
Could
so
it be
also do
confused
one
by the word short? Like short, like he looks shorter or like younger?
Yeah, that's possible.
curious.
That can definitely happen.
Okay.
But let's see what we can try removing that actually.
Generates really fast. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about it. So these, he still looks a little younger. The reason is because some of these models are like kind of biased to generate characters that look a certain way. And so like AI models, are more biased towards generating like younger, more beautiful looking people. Not that there's anything with like, anything wrong with being older, but
Right.
that's just what AI models are typically programmed to do. So we can let's try increasing the character weight a little bit.
If you had put like 15 images instead of a few, would it have? Can it lead to better results?
Yeah, but there's a point where it just stops helping. Like I'd say like 10 or 12 is probably like the point of diminishing return. So some of these, his clothing looks more accurate in this one.
Yeah.
Like his face is a little different. So it's not exactly the same, but this one's pretty close.
This one's similar, yeah.
Yeah,
That one's pretty good.
Similar. It's not bad. It's not exactly the same, but if you were to make like a short animation of it, but there is another way. So let's see. Looks like she's done training, but I will mention another way of doing this that I think is worth mentioning. So if you've seen a lot of AI video generators, they've kind of introduced this elements feature. And the idea is you can combine different elements into the same image. So what I mean by that, let's just go and how can I reuse the parameters here? Okay, So for example, I can upload an image of a character, a background, and then a prompt like she sits on the throne, 3D Pixar style animation. And it'll combine them together. So I
Wow.
think Pika Labs was the first one to do this. Kling added this. I think Kling's is the best right now that offers this feature.
Okay. I mean, yeah, this looks insane.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looks
it's very. So
really
this is
good.
another way of getting
Oh my
consistent
God.
characters. I think it's worth knowing how to do train a custom image model because it gives you more control
Yeah.
over the poses and stuff like that. I'd say here, here was another rendition. See, sometimes like this one, it starts with they're closer to the throne. It's the results from these usually are a little blurry if you made it like large screen, but these look really good.
Yeah.
Here's
Wow.
one. Let's take a look at this.
It's
I
really
can't see the
impressive.
edge of my screen for some reason. Okay, yeah, so here we go. So here I
Oh.
did Caesar holding this blue sword inside a marketplace. As you can see, his arms are crossed together to begin with, so it's kind of in like a weird pose. You can try this
Wow, the
again.
quality is insane. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's pretty cool, right?
God.
But let's try one where his arms are like a little more open. Let's see, a sword. And then here's the image of the marketplace. The man holds the blue sword. In the background, a marketplace. Let's try generating that and see what it looks like. Now, one of the tricky parts is getting multiple characters together. So here you can see like the faces start looking like a little different. Yeah, basically I uploaded Cleopatra and Caesar and have them walking through a marketplace. Like his face doesn't look great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's one
They're looking,
that
yeah,
kind of
okay.
got blended together in this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is trickier if you want more characters, but like we can try rerunning this. Let's try running a couple more just to
So
see.
you would say this process is normal, right? It's like a iteration after iteration and like a lot of like trying.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. If you, especially if you're like trying to do like filmmaking,
Yeah.
or something that's where you like really need the characters to look consistent. You can also use like face swapping tools. So I'll just show. Let me just show a face swapping tool actually. Okay, I don't know what
Let's
that is.
see.
So this is design. Hold on. I don't know what these symbols mean actually. Let's go ahead. Fine. So there's so many platforms. You know, I'm also
I know,
a
you're
lot of the
everywhere.
times gone through. Try to figure out how stuff works. But once you've kind of figured out one or two platforms, it gets a lot easier. Okay,
No,
so
yeah, yeah.
let's try this one. So let's see what happens if we take, oh, what happens? Let's go back, create a new tab. So let's see what happens if we take this image of Caesar. Let's upload him. And then we'll try to make his face look a little more similar to this original Caesar model. So why don't we go in here, oops, and crop him to just his face.
Let's
Save that.
see.
Now we can go to target face. I just uploaded right here. Okay, I think this is like finding the target face here in the image. And it's gonna try to swap them. So let's try generating that and see what happens.
Is there a lot of AI communities around like trying to find the best tools or the best ways or best prompts?
Yeah, so I think there's some other creators that have communities and things like that. Like I have a group of people that I talk back and forth with and bounce ideas off. I'll shout out my guy, Future Tech Pilot. He's a Midjourney creator, and he has like a Midjourney community where they talk about like Midjourney tools and stuff like that.
Do you have a community?
I don't have a community, man.
You should.
Unfortunately, I don't have the time, but
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
but yeah, I do get asked that like all the time. So let's see what it. Yeah, this one probably looks the most similar, I'd say.
This one is perfect.
Yeah,
Like maybe a
pretty
little
close, man.
taller, but I mean, like it's perfect.
Yeah,
It's perfect. It's perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
The interesting problem in AI is people usually say AI is bad at generating faces and hands. That's not really true. AI is actually very, very good at generating those things. It's just that as people, we're hypersensitive to that. Like the thing that you focus the most energy in your life on is like other people's faces, and also hands, right? Those are the two things that you observe the most when you interact with other people. And that's why a lot of the times it looks like AI is not very precise at generating those things. But it actually is. It's just that like we're hyper focused on details of other people's faces. So if you like change things by 1 millimeter, it'll look different. Okay, so here, let's wait for these to finish generating.
And before getting into that, let me tell you about how the 1 of 10 strategy team can help you grow your channel much faster and make more money. Our team has directly worked with over 100 YouTubers to grow their channels by optimizing their content, focusing on the right strategies. So for example, here's a video idea, title, and thumbnail that we crafted for Mike Shake that ended up getting 22 million views and being his most popular video of all time. Another example is the content strategy we built for Callaway, helping him go from 0 to 70,000 subscribers and grow a 6-figure business on top of that. And those are only just 2 of many creators the team has worked with in the past 6 years. So if you're ready to take your channel to the next level in the next 90 days with daily support, video reviews, winning ideas, titles, and thumbnails, and even 2 calls per month to answer all your questions, head over to oneoften.com/strategy to book a call. Maybe you can tell people what's your background? Like, what did you study, and how did you become an expert in this?
Yeah, so I got into AI. I was in grad school. I was doing robotics. So remember the self-driving car stuff? Like it's still going on, right? But my professor, Professor Mark Campbell, he was a big researcher in the autonomous driving field. And so I was working on like if you have a car driving around with a bunch of cameras and like laser pointers on it that's detecting stuff, how do you use that to navigate? So you're like detecting people, you're detecting roads, detecting trees and crossings and stuff like that. How do you use that information to drive around? I wasn't doing so much of the car stuff. It was like smaller robots, like a Mars rover type of thing. And then after that, yeah, it was pretty cool, man. And then after that, I worked for a company called OnePlus. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a Chinese company. They make smartphones.
Yeah. So you were so you graduated in robotic engineering?
Yeah. So I did, and then afterwards, I worked for this company where I did a little bit of robotics, but we did more like AI video. Like, you know, if you have a selfie of someone on your phone, right, you want to animate that and make them move around or something like that. So that's how I got into AI video.
And did you quit your job to go full time doing this, or are you doing both?
Sort of. I quit / got laid off. Like they wanted me to move to Palo Alto in California, and I was like, I'm not going. And then they fired me.
Okay.
So yeah.
and then you decided to go all in on this.
Yeah. I was having so much fun making these videos. I'm like, I don't want to work at a job anymore. You know, I just do this.
Super interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like let's see here. It's like the sword's kind of floating. I think
Classic AI stuff. Yeah.
We can try specifically saying he holds the blue sword in his hand.
Yeah.
Or like let's try he lifts the blue sword, because that's a little more consistent with our image with his hand.
Have you seen in those prompts, like if you put more context, more description, does it make it better, or in the end, not really?
It can, I think a lot of people overdo it and have like these like massive like 3 page paragraphs in their prompts.
Yeah.
You really like for most applications, I don't think you need that. I think prompts can be pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way you really want to prompt is kind of based on the data sets that these video generators are trained on. So like we don't have access to the data set, right? Like I've looked through some data sets before when I was still working, building AI videos and stuff like that. The data sets usually don't have like 3 paragraph, descriptions for the videos. So like usually try to stick with like more simple motions, right? The main thing you want to give context on is like separating key people, like the man and the woman in this case. It's like they put something on his face. But these look okay.
Yeah, I mean this works. We can go with that.
Yeah, this looks pretty good.
So let's say that's the scene, right? What would be the next step after to bring in the script as voice?
So I realized that we haven't been following the script super closely so far.
That's fine. Yeah.
But let's just say we want to just create this dialogue scene, right? You risk death to stand before me. Caesar said, I risk nothing, Cleopatra. I stand for a man who understands that greatness must recognize its reflection.
Sure.
I'm not sure what this means, but that's okay. By the way, let's just go back real quick. I'm curious to see how this Cleopatra model did. So again, she's tagged right here. Let's say Cleopatra is sitting on a throne in an Egyptian palace, plants around her. Let's see what this looks like. But like for anyone who's like doing these AI like type of animations, like people always ask me what platforms I use. I use all of them, like literally all of them. I try all of them. There's always new stuff coming out. So you got to be, don't have it in your head like I'm just going to learn one platform and only use that. You got to try different things.
Is there a place where you get your news for new stuff for AI?
Twitter, actually, believe it or not, is pretty good. Obviously, like people like leave comments in my videos, they message me on Instagram and stuff like that. So
nice.
I'm too up to date. Like I get too many
You're well
updates and stuff like that. I'd say these look really good actually.
Those are amazing.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Okay, so let's move on and let's just say we want to create these voices. So we can use a platform like 11 Labs.
Classic.
Yeah, I think they're still very, very good. One of the best when it comes to AI voices.
Mm-hmm.
So
I only hear about 11 Labs. Is there another one that you think is up there?
Yeah, there's other ones. They all ask me for sponsorship slots. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to say like, but Hailuo has a decent one. So if you go to Hailuo,
I know it. Yeah.
Audio, they also create AI speech here. And then there's a bunch of other platforms, but I don't know all of them.
Okay, cool.
But they all roughly do the same thing. Now let's go and test out some of these voices. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear. Okay, let's just go with this one. Right? It doesn't sound like how I imagine Cleopatra sounding, but I don't want to spend too much time.
Yeah. All good. So let's say let's use that one.
Here, basically, we'll enter what Cleopatra says. This is what she says. Where did I put it? And then we'll just cut out the part where she's not talking. And then I also put ... So there's a bit of a pause here. Now let's generate the speech.
I risk nothing. I stand before a man who understands that greatness must recognize its reflection.
We'll download that, and then let's put this here. I'd recommend like organizing this slightly better than what I'm doing now, like having a specific photo for your audio. But
of course,
anyways, now there's different platforms we can use to do the lip sync. So I'll show how to do it in Kling first. Now what we want is a closer video of our character first. So let's just regenerate this one. but not have her moving around too much, because if they move around too much, it's like the lip sync doesn't work as well. So we'll go fixed lens to try to get more of a static shot. Let's just leave this, right? And put subtle motion. So she doesn't move too much. Let's generate that. So actually, let's also, I just realized I generated 5-second videos. Let's also do 10-second videos. We'll make it a little easier to do the lip sync, just so we have more real estate. Yeah, as you can see, 10-second videos. Oh, it's actually gotten a lot much faster. Like Kling used to take like 2 days to render a video, but it's much faster now.
Wow. Okay. Things are moving fast then.
Yeah,
Crazy.
subtle motion. I wanted the camera to stay static. Let's see if this one worked. But this is fine. Now let's go to lip sync. So you can like generate a voice inside of Kling with these, but I find that like 11 Labs, the voices sound a little more realistic. But you can, for example, here like enter like "Hi, how are you?" and it'll generate a voice that you can lip sync with the character. So that is one option. But I'll just show how to do it with your own audio file. So let's take Cleopatra's audio, put that in here. Takes a second. So yeah, like that's why I said we want 10-second videos. So you can see our audio is like slightly longer. The video clip's 5 seconds. Our audio is 5.1 seconds. You know, we need to trim this a little bit, but that's fine.
Right.
Confirm the trimming, and then let's generate that and see what it looks like. We can also do a comparison. So let's also go to Runway. This is Runway. You know, we talked about this earlier. They also have some lip sync functionality. So let's try and see what this looks like. First, what I'll need to do is actually download this video from Kling. Yeah, I'm not sure why these are all zooming out. Maybe sometimes it's, a lot of the times the results from the video are based on the initial image that you create. So if the video doesn't do exactly what you want, sometimes just swapping the image to something that's very similar will get better results. Okay, so let's go to Runway. Then let's drop in our video. And then again, with Runway, you have the option. So with Runway, you can also generate your own audio files. But again, the voices are limited. Like it's not a dedicated audio generator. That's like not their main thing, right? So let's Cleopatra's face. And then we'll also upload. Maybe I just got to wait for it to load.
Those channels with like an hour-long history of Bibles and stuff, those take long time still, right? Because all of this, what we've been doing, it's only for 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah. So the AI Bible channels, from what I've seen, their characters aren't like consistent. A lot of the times, like a big part of the thing that takes time is like having the consistent characters, which is what I like to have in my videos. But for a lot of the AI animation channels, if you look closely at the characters, they're not actually consistent. They actually just render characters that look very, very similar. So then that way you basically skip a huge part of the process, which is getting the characters to look the same, right? With like the same clothing and stuff like that. Upload the audio file. Okay, and let's see what happens. I haven't used this for a while, but let's see what Kling did. You see the lip sync?
I risk nothing. I stand before a man who understands that greatness must recognize its reflection.
Oh, okay, yeah, man, it follows.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, it's impressive. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Amazing, right? All right, so there's a couple of other things that I'll go through quickly.
Sure.
We're closing. So one is style consistency. This is important. You want to generate images that kind of have a similar visual style to tell your stories, right? And so let's say we have Midjourney. What we need is basically to use a reference style image, a style reference image. We can use this, put that into the AI model, and then create another image that kind of has a very, very similar style. So if you look at this, you would think that it's like from the same animation, right? Like the same story. So let's go inside Midjourney. Okay, so what we'll do, let's say an Egyptian marketplace, lively 3D Pixar animation. Okay, and then we'll also make this a wide aspect ratio image like before. Now, what we need to do is to attach a style reference to this prompt. And so let's go here. This is the style reference image that I'm going to be using. And so usually when you enter a prompt, you can attach another image as a reference, right? So you can just attach it as a basic image prompt. That's not the best way. What we want to do is attach it as a style reference. I know there's this character reference feature here in Midjourney. This doesn't really work that well compared to the other methods I showed. But let's just do that, okay? And then I'll also change the style weight. So you need to do this in Midjourney. By default, this is a parameter that's between 0 to 100. By default, it sets to 100, but we actually want to set this to a lower value. Because if we set it to 100, it ends up generating something that's like too similar to our original image. So we might actually generate like a picture like shaped like this woman, like a marketplace, like shaped like her. And we don't actually want that, right? We just want a marketplace.
I see.
So here we go. And you can see it's, it follows the style very well, right? So as a comparison, let's just see what happens if we don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that, the same style.
Right, like the color palette, even the time of day, the lighting is all pretty similar. If we don't, these actually turn out pretty well, but it's not. You can see that there's.
It's not as similar. Like the top left, it's right? Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. So now the last thing I know we wanted to talk about was creating changing the visual style. Like for example, creating like a Studio Ghibli type of animation, right? So let's go inside ChatGPT. I know we didn't follow the story very well.
I think the message got across for sure.
Yeah. So let's just upload this image of Cleopatra. Then we can simply tell ChatGPT create an image of this woman in the style of Studio Ghibli anime. Her face should look similar, make it very detailed. And we'll also tell ChatGPT to make it a landscape image. Because sometimes ChatGPT gets confused and turns it into like a vertical image.
Right.
Okay.
I think sometimes ChatGPT gives like copyright issues or something and just doesn't generate.
Happened, like,
what do you do?
So I tried to do one with like Star Wars character before. And it gave me like a copyright issue. I don't know if there's a way around that. Like you can, there's other ways of getting a Studio Ghibli style, to put it bluntly, like that takes like more effort and work. That's like not accessible, but basically you could train like another custom image model. So just like how we train custom models for our characters, you can also train custom models for visual styles. And so a lot of artists actually do that to prototype their images, where they have like a body of work and then they want to prototype a new idea. So they'll train a custom AI model to mimic their art style, and that way they can prototype what ideas they have in their mind. So they don't go through the entire process of like making the art piece and then realizing it doesn't look the way they want it to look. Hopefully, I don't know why I put the red dot there. I guess, in the original image.
It was part of the,
But that looks pretty good. Let me take a screenshot of this while it's working.
Yeah, I know.
So
it might stop.
So it doesn't like give me. Oh no, it worked.
Oh, nice.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so basically this we can remove that real quick. Let me just download this. A nice tool we can use in Midjourney is this editor tool. What we'll be able to do here, let's upload this local image from ChatGPT. So if you see ChatGPT, the wide aspect ratio images aren't 16:9. They're not landscape images. They're like actually like 4:3 aspect ratio. Extend that a little bit. Let's see if this, there we go. So we can, let's erase. Let's also make this a 16:9 aspect ratio. And then in the prompt, just like say animation. And so basically Midjourney will paint in all the gray areas of our image. Let's try that. And then we'll turn this into a video and see what it looks like.
And there is one last thing. It would be the music at the end.
Yeah. We can see that real quick too.
Perfect.
16:9.
Wow.
Studio Ghibli style. So we can upscale this, but for now let's just download this. Upload our image. Then for the prompt, let's just do turns our head and smiles. Something simple. So when it comes to 2D animation, AI is not quite as good as photorealistic animations or 3D animations. So you don't want to try to like animate really big motions and stuff like that.
We're not there yet. Another 6 months.
Yeah, it's not great at anime style. I am on my phone's hotspot, so maybe that's why it's taking a little longer to generate that. There's so many other features that we haven't gone through. Like you can add a start and an end frame, and the AI will interpolate between that. So basically, you can put in an image that you start with, and then a final image, and the AI will fill in what's in between. But while we wait for this to generate, let's also try another one, like she walks forwards. Try one more, just to see. Okay, take a look at AI music. There's other platforms for this. Like people tell me like Udio is better. Udio is another platform.
Yeah.
But basically, Suno is an AI music generator. And so as you can see, they have like a homepage where other people are, playing songs and things like that. But we can create our own song. So let's just go to ChatGPT. Write me lyrics to a short song about Cleopatra and Julius Caesar. Then when we're in Suno, we can go to create, and then here we can add in lyrics. So let's see what ChatGPT gives us. All right, let's just, okay, this is it's pretty epic. Let's put that into Suno. And then I think this, what kind of genre you think? Like a sad rock song.
Sure. Let's go.
Okay. Then here it'll recommend you some stuff. Maybe pop, why not? And see what it gives. So let's create that. By the way, my followers have been telling me that like Suno, if you try to upload their stuff to YouTube without like a subscription or whatever, sometimes they'll copyright strike you. So, just be on the lookout for that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So let's say this one, if I upload it on the podcast, it might flag something?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. But
all right.
It's possible.
I'll check it out.
So we made some variations. It's pretty good, right? She turns her head and smiles.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. This one,
this
is her walking forwards. She walks backwards a little. Yeah. Sometimes
that's a little weird.
Yeah. It's not great. Does the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad,
No, yeah, there's something to play with here for sure.
See, here I did rotating lens.
This one's good.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. It's rotating lens. It's like an arc shot. You basically take the camera and move in a 360-degree circle around the subject. So this
one's well done.
One of the favorite prompts people have.
Nice.
This one should do the same thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Looks pretty cool. So let's just say if Suno made one song.
In the shadows of the Nile I rise, crowned in gold with fire in my eyes. Whispers echo.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So obviously,
cool.
like this is gonna take like more fine tuning. I showed a surface level of how this stuff works, but it's hard to cover everything in like an hour and a half. So
That was amazing. Just with that, if someone wanted to deep dive into the AI faceless world, animation world, I mean, I think a person has all the tools necessary here to start at least and get into the weeds.
yeah, hope so.
What's general advice you'd have for people wanting to get into this?
It can seem intimidating at first. I can tell. Like there was a point in time when I was trying to learn coding and I had like zero coding skills, right? So this is when I started working on robotics and I was trying to figure out like how to like program, some like pretty complicated algorithms. And so the way I learned it wasn't really by like reading a book or, taking someone's course, although that stuff can help. It was more like I had a project in mind. I had a problem I needed to solve. I was like, this is impossible, but let me just try to do like a small piece of this. So I would like code like a small, for loop, or I would just code a small part of the algorithm, and then I'd get stuck, and then I'd go and try to figure out, okay, like how do I add another small piece to what I've already done, right? So the way you learn, or the way I learned to like program was, it wasn't by like taking a course or whatever. It was just like, let me try this. Oh, that kind of worked. Okay, let me try something else. Okay, that didn't work. Let me go and Google and figure out how to do that new thing. And then once I figured that out, I just slowly added more and more and more onto it. So I think it's just trial and error, but I would say like have a project in mind, or something you're actually trying to create, and then slowly work towards that. It'll kind of suck in the beginning, but you'll get better at it over time.
Great advice. Damn, that was really good. I'm impressed. Tao, thanks again for coming here. And guys, check out Tao Prompts on YouTube for his channel. You'll have a lot of great advice. And Tao, is there anything you wanna shout out?
Just follow me at Tao Prompts, man. TAO Prompts. I post all kinds of AI video, AI image guides. Yeah, we got a lot of great resources for you guys. So come check out the channel.
You guys saw the expertise, so guys, follow him if you want to be on the top of the news for this. Thanks again, and peace.